Hello, welcome to another Dave's Desk. Today I'm with a former accountant and now a leading careers coach. He was an accountant for 25 years. Then he woke up, smelt the coffee, and he realised that actually career coaching was what he was most passionate about. He's a professional speaker based over in the Emerald Isle of Ireland, and his name is John Burns. John, welcome to Dave's Desk.
Thank you very much for having me on Dave's Desk, Dave.
Lovely to see you, mate. It's really good to see you. And
you too.
follow your posts on LinkedIn and social media. You put out a lot of great content. Well worth a follow for anyone who wants to. So, John, let's kick off by saying, why on earth a professional speaker and career coach?
It's a very good question, Dave. And in terms of professional speaking, I've been a member of Toastmasters International for a number of years.
Yeah.
And then one day, a man called Eamon O'Brien connected with me on LinkedIn.
I know, I am great.
And as you do, I looked at Eamon's LinkedIn profile and I saw Professional Speaking Association. And I looked up the PSA on the internet, and I saw they had an Ireland region. So I decided I was going to dip my toes in the water and try my hand at professional speaking. And I was like a rabbit in headlights for a year or two, to be honest. And then it clicked with me one day, there's a big difference between public speaking and professional speaking.
Yeah.
That's how I got into professional speaking. And then I went off to the first boot camp presented by our great friend, Simon Hazeldine and Chantel Cornelius.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I woke up and smelt the coffee about professional speaking.
Wonderful. And do you speak about career coaching?
Yes, I do. Yes, and how I help clients.
Right.
And to talk about my career coaching career, I spent 25 years working as an accountant in industry. And I always had this nagging doubt in the back of my mind, was accountancy the right profession for John Burns? And it transpired it was not. Because I remember doing a Myers-Briggs profile, and I came out as an INTP.
And what does that mean?
Very much on the slightly on the introversion side as against extroversion.
Okay.
I'm an N for intuition, so I trust my gut feeling. I'm a perceiving person. In other words, I don't like too much structure around me, and I like to keep my options open. A J as in judging, they like to do things now, and they love structure. Cool. And then I think about things a lot more so than express my feelings.
Yeah.
But in terms of being an N and a P, accountants are very much J for judging and S for sensory. They have to see the detail, and they're very much into deadlines and the here and now.
Right.
And that kind of wasn't my personality.
And so how once you realised that, how did you step into career coaching?
I've always regarded myself as a people person, and I do like to see people progressing in their careers. And then one day in 2020, a man that I know for a couple of years approached me and he said, "John, would you like to make money again? And I mean serious money.
Yeah.
I've got an idea for you. I'll tell you one piece at a time. But first, I'm going to do some personal development with you to build your confidence." We were 6 months into that. And then he said, "I'm building you up to be a career coach because you're a people person. You like to see people doing well in life. And you've got great experience. And people can learn from your experience of being a reluctant accountant of 25 years. Now, having said all of this, Dave, I love to call myself a qualified accountant, as well as being a professional speaker and career coach.
Yeah.
For me, accountancy is a great business qualification, and it ranks alongside a Master of Business Administration for me. in terms of business qualifications. So although I don't work as an accountant anymore, I'm privileged that I still can call myself a chartered management accountant because I keep up my membership of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants.
I'm actually speaking for them in a few weeks' time. I know them well. So John, I mean, what a fascinating story, from accountancy to speaking, career coaching. Let's get into some nitty-gritty of what you do and how you do it. So how might somebody know if they need a career coach?
That's a great question to ask, Dave. Based on my own experience, if a person has a nagging doubt in the back of their head, I'm in the wrong job, they need a career coach. Either that, or people have been made redundant and they want to get back into full-time employment, or they want to start a business of their dreams. Now, what I found from experience is very often, or sometimes I should say, employers are never that truthful about why they're letting you go. They would say to you, John, we're making your job redundant because we need to cut costs. But very often, there's a more deeper issue at hand.
Right.
And in my case, it was the fact that I wasn't suited to accountancy, and I had to work that out for myself. And I needed a career coach to build my confidence up again and to help me to transition from calling myself an accountant to calling myself a career coach.
Of course. And is it often or ever the case that people think they need a career change, but actually what was happening was an underlying problem, and once that problem was sorted, they were fine?
Yeah. Yes, but it's identifying that root problem. Or if somebody wants to post redundancy to get back into full-time employment, it could be a case that their soft skills need working on, or skills such as negotiation or delegation. They could have been workaholics in their jobs, and the employer wanted somebody who's prepared to delegate rather than doing all the work themselves. And the person who's made redundant needs to recognize that problem and get help.
So how do you work? If let's just say I said, John, I need your help. How would you work with me? Is it one-to-one, in a group? How do you work with people?
In my case, it's one-to-one coaching. And what I do is I arrange to have an initial meeting with the person online at the moment because of COVID-19 restrictions. And I ask them to explain their situation to me, and I listen. And what I found is the more you listen, not alone do people bring their problems to you, but they also almost bring the solution with them.
So you're definitely a coach rather than a mentor.
Correct, yes.
Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. I bet you love what you do. Do you have any preferred or niche industry sectors you work in, or is it right across the board?
Right across the board. What I work with is senior executives who've been made redundant from multinational companies, and they want to return to full-time employment, or they want to start a business of their dreams. And what you tend to find is people who've come from the multinational sector into self-employment, it's a whole sea change for them. They're no longer working in a structured environment. They have to start taking more risks and realizing they can't do everything themselves. And the first thing they often need is to get a business plan together. And very often they have to develop new skills. Now, I came from an accountancy background, and I had no idea whatever about sales or marketing. Now, I dedicate my marketing and SEO work to a person that I know, but I need to be able to understand the whole sales process and developing a sales pipeline. And I have people who work with me on that. And there are things that people who come from, say, non-customer facing roles in multinational organizations, they have to learn to understand the whole purpose of a sales pipeline, and that you can't just get customers straight away. You have to work at it.
And would you ever work with people in smaller businesses or people in the teaching profession? Or
Yes, I would.
Right.
Yes.
So, John, go on, give us. I know this is an impossible question for someone of your skill set to answer just like that, but I'm going to ask anyway, because I ask everybody, if there is one thing we can do to help us identify an ideal career for us, what is the one thing all of us could do that would make a difference?
A great question, and I'm going to try to answer that one, Dave. If in the case of parents who have, say, children who are progressing towards A levels in the UK or leaving certificate here in Ireland, I would say to those kids or children or young adults, I should say, talk to your careers guidance coach in school and ask that careers guidance coach to do personality profiling with you, because that's where it starts, with young people going to university and getting into the correct degree course for them. In the case of people in the workforce who are struggling in a job because it's not for them, I recommend they do personality profiling, such as Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, or DISC. And that will reveal a lot about you as a person. And it did in my case, because when I saw on the Myers-Briggs profile that I was an N and a P, I then realized that accountancy wasn't the profession for me.
Great stuff. John, you've been so generous with your time, your expertise today. Can't thank you enough. If ever I can do anything to help you, anybody watching this, if you need, or if you know someone who might need a little bit of guidance in their career progression or their personality profiling, don't hesitate to connect with John. John, how can people best get hold of you? What's your web address?
My web address is www.johntheprospeaker.ie. That's JOHNTHEPROSPEAKER.ie.
Fantastic. John, thank you very much indeed for your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you all on another Dave's Desk very soon. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Then click the TV to watch the next video. Oh, and don't forget to visit our website at davidheiner.com to claim your free audiobook. Until the next time, go Rhino. Have in it.